Here is another second stimulus update. President Trump has taken action because the incompetent Congress and the House can't figure out a bill, and that's pretty pathetic for us, the American people, that really need the help. I'll put a link to this article in the description. There's also a short video that has more details about it from CNN that you can watch. Trump signed this on Saturday, and he's going to provide an additional $400 a week for the unemployment benefits. But in reality, the additional unemployment aid is more complicated than the White House acknowledged, and experts say it might not help a lot of the unemployed. The previous one gave $600 a week, but now Trump wants the states to chip in. In some states, they pay as low as $275 a week, which it's pathetic. And I think the reason they have it so low is to encourage people to go and find work. But what if you can't find work? $275, how are you going to survive on that? How are you going to pay rent and all that? That probably wouldn't even pay your rent for the month, $275 a week. It's just crazy. Like, I've been out of work before for up to 6 months, 4 to 6 months to find another job. So it's $275 is not going to cut it. It should be at least $400 to $500 a week for unemployment when people are out. So Trump wants the states to pay up to 25% of it, which I think is fair. Sunday night, Trump said he would be open to allowing people to get the enhanced benefit without states picking up some of the cost, which it sounds like he's going to have to do. He said it was possible that the federal government could pick up the entire cost if governors make a request. We have a system where we can do 100% or we can do 75%. They pay 25%, and it will depend on the state, he said to reporters before returning to the White House from his resort in New Jersey. And they will make an application, we will look at it, and we'll make a decision. Then it goes on to say that the states are in dire financial straits, which is not surprising. Many states have already asked the federal government for major financial help. Several experts told CNN there are major questions about how many states may be able to afford the extra cost. In fact, states have asked Congress to provide them with an additional $500 billion to help shore up their budgets, which have been crushed by the loss of tax revenue. Aw, poor babies. Amid the pandemic, of course they're going to blame everything on the pandemic. This has been one of the main points of contention between Democrats who want to allocate additional aid and Republicans who don't want to bail out what they say are badly managed states. And then it says, the millions of Americans who filed for jobless benefits also have drained several states' unemployment benefits trust funds. Already 10 states have borrowed nearly $20 billion from the Treasury Department to cover their share of payments, which typically last 26 weeks. Requires a new system because Congress has not authorized an extension of extra federal unemployment assistance. The state will have to set up an entirely new system to deliver the additional aid. And that's right, they'll have to, because this is an entirely different situation where they want us to stay home, so they're going to have to pay us to stay home because that's the only solution. We can't work or do anything to make money. This article is just speculation. Trump just signed the executive order, so it hasn't really taken effect yet, so we don't know exactly how it's going to play out yet. Okay, here it says, according to the memorandum, an individual can only receive the $300 federal benefit if he or she first qualified for $100 in aid from their state. Evermore said this will cut out a large group of people. There are so many problems with people getting a benefit under this, she said. The executive action signed by Trump does not reinstate the previous moratorium on evictions, which lapsed in July, which is not very good. So if you're a landlord, make sure you try to do the best you can to not just throw your renters on the street. The original ban covered mortgages which were backed by federal funds. The nonprofit Urban Institute has estimated that moratorium covered just over 12 million households. No money is set aside to help homeowners or renters. The action calls for the Housing and Urban Development and Treasury Secretaries to identify any and all federal funds to provide temporary financial assistance to renters and homeowners who are struggling to pay their mortgages and rents because of the pandemic. Experts told CNN that it was unclear based on the process laid out for government agencies how long it would take for anyone to see funding from this. Now this is something I totally disagree with. The payroll tax cut thing is not a good idea because it's a deferral, not a cut. So that means you get the extra money in your paycheck now, but then later down the road, you have to give it back to Uncle Sam at some point, and nobody really knows how that is going to work out exactly. The payroll tax measure that Trump signed Saturday does not actually reduce the payroll taxes. It defers the due date for the portion of those taxes paid by employees, minus 6.2% for Social Security, and 1.45% for Medicare, through December 31st. It applies to workers whose wages are less than $4,000 on a biweekly basis, or about $104,000 a year. This is similar to Treasury's deferring the federal income tax due date this year to July 15th from April 15th. The payroll taxes would still be due. They would just have been delayed to the end of the deferment period. Companies may not want to stop withholding the employee's share of the taxes from their paychecks for that reason. So if you can, just tell your employer to take the damn taxes out. If you did take the tax deferral, it would basically be like you're getting an interest-free loan, but you would have to pay it back. Trump also said that if he's reelected, he would seek to forgive the levy and make permanent cuts to the payroll taxes. But the power to change tax law lies with Congress and Nancy Pelosi. I will put the link to this website in the description below so that you can check out the website if you want and watch that little short video as well. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up so that YouTube will show it to others. So, student loans. Trump's directive regarding student loans seems to be the one executive action of the 4 that will deliver the results as the administration said. This is the only area of the 4 which doesn't need funding from Congress, state governments, or the private sector to fully implement. It extends the student loan relief granted in the CARES Act until the end of the year. Currently, the loan payments are paused and interest is suspended on federally held student loans until September 30th. So if you have a student loan and you're still working, I would go ahead and take advantage of it and pay that thing down, because you can get it down faster now because everything will go towards the principal since there's no interest. They paused the loan payments, but I'm sure you could probably still call them up and make a payment and they would take it. That's it for the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, click the notification bell, and if you have any suggestions for future videos, leave a comment.